Hey everyone, ready to dive into the world of Ordinary Seamen.
Let's do it.
Today we're going to help you totally ace that Ordinary Seaman interview.
We've got some amazing insights from RoleCatcher.
They're like the ultimate guide for anyone looking to set sail on their maritime career.
Consider this your deep dive into interview success.
So before we get started,
Yeah.
let's be real for a sec.
Okay.
Being an Ordinary Seaman, it's not all, smooth sailing and ocean sunsets.
Right. It's a tough job.
It's demanding, it's hands-on, you're the backbone of the ship.
You gotta be ready to work hard.
So how do you convince an interviewer that you're cut out for this kind of life?
Well, first off, you gotta show them you're not afraid of hard work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that you're eager to learn.
Like really eager.
You're passionate about maritime life.
And that you understand what it means to be part of a ship's crew.
A tight-knit team.
Okay, so let's get into some specifics.
Sounds good.
RoleCatcher has this awesome interview guide. Ordinary Seaman.
It's packed with common questions.
And, get this, they even use AI to help tailor your answers.
It's incredible.
Let's start with a basic one.
Okay.
Can you describe your experience working on board a vessel?
Yes, the classic experience question.
It's tricky because, well, it's an entry-level position, right?
You're not expected to have captained a cruise ship.
But they still want some kind of experience.
Here's the thing, though.
Okay.
You don't need to have worked on a massive tanker.
Really?
Anytime you've been on a boat counts.
So, like, even if I helped my uncle with his fishing boat
Exactly.
or volunteered at a marina.
Absolutely.
Wow, okay.
The key is to make those experiences concrete.
Instead of just saying, like, I'm familiar with boats.
Right. Tell a story.
A story.
Like, remember that time you helped fix a jammed winch?
Or when you learned to tie a bowline knot.
Those are the kind of details that make your experience come alive.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help you with that, right?
Exactly. It can help you frame those anecdotes so they really showcase your skills.
That's awesome.
It's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
Okay, so moving on.
Yep.
Another question you're bound to get.
Hit me.
How do you ensure the safety of yourself and your crewmates while working on board a vessel?
Safety.
The #1 priority is C.
Absolutely.
What do you say to that one?
This is where you got to hit 2 key points.
Man on me.
First, you show them that you take safety seriously.
Like super seriously.
Talk about your experience with safety drills, your knowledge of procedures.
Even how you'd handle a man overboard situation.
Exactly. Second, you highlight any relevant certifications you have.
Like the STCW.
Bingo! That's the standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping.
That's a mouthful.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's an internationally recognized certification that covers all the basics.
So it shows employers you're not a complete newbie when it comes to safety.
Exactly.
But what exactly does it entail? Like, what do you learn?
Everything from fire safety to first aid, personal survival techniques, security awareness, you name it.
Wow. Okay, so it's pretty comprehensive.
It's basically your passport to working on a ship.
And they might even ask follow-up questions to see if you really know your stuff.
Oh, for sure. They'll want to gauge your practical knowledge.
Like, imagine they ask, what are the steps you would take if you discovered a fire on board?
Okay, so first you'd raise the alarm, right?
Right, of course.
But then what?
I guess it depends on the situation.
Exactly. This is where you show you can think on your feet.
Okay.
You might say something like, I'd immediately activate the alarm and alert my supervisor. Then, depending on the size and location of the fire, I'd either grab a fire extinguisher or assist with evacuating passengers or crew.
So you're following established procedures, but also adapting to the situation.
Precisely.
And RoleCatcher's AI can give me feedback on how I answer those kinds of questions.
It can analyze your practice responses and tell you if you're using too much jargon or not giving enough concrete examples.
That's amazing. Okay, let's move on to a question that I think everyone dreads a little bit.
Not all. Which one is that?
How do you handle conflicts with other crew members on board a vessel?
The conflict question?
I mean, you're stuck on a ship together, right?
There's no escaping it.
So how do you deal with that?
Well, the interviewer wants to know that you can handle disagreements professionally.
Okay.
You need to show your soft skills.
Communication, conflict resolution, teamwork.
All of that.
So what's a good way to answer this one?
Think of a time you successfully navigated a disagreement, either in a previous job or a team project.
Okay, got it.
Don't just say you're good at resolving conflicts.
Right.
Walk them through the situation.
Like tell a story.
Exactly. How you listened to the other person's perspective, how you found a solution that worked for everyone.
Got it. And what if they ask a follow-up question like, can you give me an example of a time you had to work collaboratively to achieve a goal on board a vessel?
Perfect opportunity to showcase your teamwork skills. Think of a challenging situation, maybe a difficult repair or a tight deadline.
And how you and your team work together to overcome it.
Exactly. Highlight your communication skills, your willingness to take instructions, and how you contributed to the team's success.
This is all great advice.
Mm.
But I'm also curious about the bigger picture.
Okay.
Like, what does a career as an ordinary seaman actually look like?
You're thinking long term.
Is there room for growth?
Absolutely.
Good.
RoleCatcher has a resource for that too, actually.
No way.
Their career guide, Ordinary Seaman, breaks down the potential career trajectory.
Tell me more.
It highlights the steps from ordinary seaman to able seaman, then bosun, and even captain.
Whoa, so you can actually work your way up to captain.
You can, but it takes time and dedication.
What's the key?
The guide emphasizes continuous learning and getting additional certifications.
Like what?
Things like advanced firefighting or radar navigation.
Those sound intense.
They are, but they show potential employers that you're serious about your career.
And they make you a more valuable asset to the crew.
Exactly.
So it's like leveling up in a video game, gaining new skills and unlocking new opportunities.
I like that analogy.
So it's not just about getting the job, it's about showing them you're in it for the long haul.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, this is all super helpful, but I want to make sure we have time to really dive into some more of those common interview questions.
Let's do it.
We want to give our listeners all the tools they need to impress those interviewers
We're going to make sure they're ready to set sail on their maritime careers.
and navigate those interview waters with confidence.
Let's go. Okay, let's jump into another question that often pops up in those ordinary seaman interviews.
All right, hit me with it.
How do you handle emergency situations on board a vessel? It's a big one.
Yeah, that's a real test, right?
Absolutely. They want to see how you react under pressure.
You got to stay calm.
Think clearly.
It's about more than just, having good sea legs.
Exactly. It's a mental test.
Okay, so how do we nail this one?
The key is to show them, your stuff when it comes to emergency procedures.
So talk about safety drills.
Yes. And your knowledge of those alarm signals.
Right, those are important.
And knowing how to use safety equipment.
Like where everything is.
Exactly.
So it's not enough to just say, I'd stay calm.
Right. You need to give them concrete examples.
Show them, don't tell them.
Exactly.
Like, what would you do in a fire?
Or a man overboard situation.
Or a medical emergency.
They might even give you a specific scenario.
Oh, like a pop quiz?
Yeah, sort of. Like, what steps would you take if you discovered a fighter on deck?
Okay, so you'd raise the alarm, right?
Of course. But what next?
Would you try to fight the fire yourself?
Well, that depends. It depends on the situation.
Right, and your training.
You could say something like, I'd immediately activate the alarm and alert my supervisor.
Then, depending on the size and location of the fire, I'd either grab a fire extinguisher or assist with evacuating passengers or crew.
Perfect. That shows you're thinking it through.
Following procedures.
But also being adaptable.
Oh, and I bet RoleCatcher's AI could help me practice this too.
Absolutely. It'll analyze your answers, make sure you're clear and concise.
Because in an emergency, every second counts.
Exactly. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Here's another one they might ask. How do you prioritize tasks and manage your time on board a vessel?
Time management, that's got to be crucial on a ship, right?
Oh, absolutely. You're constantly juggling multiple tasks.
And there are no weekends at sea.
Exactly. So you need to show them you can handle that responsibility.
Be organized.
Efficient.
Okay, so how do I convince them I'm a master of time management?
Talk about how you assess the urgency of different tasks.
Okay, so like which ones need to be done first?
Exactly. Then explain how you'd create a plan of action.
To get everything done.
Right.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Imagine you're assigned to chip rust and repaint a section of the deck.
Sounds fun.
But suddenly, a crew member needs help securing loose cargo in the hold.
Oh, that sounds more urgent.
It is. So
Yeah.
you'd explain how you'd communicate with your supervisor.
Offer to help with the cargo.
And then go back to the painting once that's taken care of.
So it's about being flexible.
Putting safety first.
And of course, teamwork.
Absolutely. All essential qualities in a maritime environment.
Okay, so speaking of teamwork, what about this one? Can you tell me about a time when you had to work collaboratively with others to achieve a goal on board a vessel?
Another teamwork question. Classic.
Because, it is all about teamwork on a ship.
It is. They want to see that you can work effectively as part of a crew.
Handle those interpersonal challenges.
Exactly.
So how do I choose a good example for this one?
Think back to a time when you were part of a team
Okay.
and you faced a challenge.
Like what kind of challenge?
Maybe a difficult repair,
Or a tight deadline.
or even just a tricky situation.
Right.
What was your role? How did you contribute?
And what did I learn?
Yes, they'd love to hear about what you've learned.
So I'd want to talk about my communication skills, my willingness to follow instructions, and how I supported my teammates.
Exactly.
What about those challenges?
Oh, yeah, talk about those too, how you overcame them as a team.
So let's say they ask, the ship encounters a sudden storm and the crew needs to batten down the hatches.
Okay, good one.
What would your role be in that situation?
Perfect example. You talk about following instructions from your superiors.
Right. Got to respect the chain of command.
Helping to secure loose equipment.
Making sure nothing goes flying around.
And reinforcing vulnerable areas on deck.
So basically being a reliable team player.
Exactly. Ready to lend a hand wherever needed.
Putting the needs of the team first.
You got it. Okay, let's shift gears again.
All right, what's next?
How about this? How do you maintain equipment and perform routine maintenance on board a vessel?
Okay, so this is about showing that I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty.
Exactly.
And that I understand how important it is to keep things running smoothly.
A ship is a complex machine. Lots of moving parts.
You got to know how to keep it all working.
Right. So highlight any experience you have with basic tools.
Yeah.
Your ability to follow maintenance checklists.
And being willing to learn about different systems.
Even if you've never worked on a specific piece of equipment before.
Emphasize that I'm eager to learn.
And that you can follow instructions.
Okay, got it. What if they ask, you notice a small oil leak near one of the winches. What steps would you take?
Another good one? You'd want to show them you understand safety and protocol.
Okay.
You could say something like, I'd immediately report the leak to my supervisor.
Providing a clear description of its location and severity.
Then I'd follow any instructions provided, whether that involves cleaning up the spill, isolating the leak, or assisting with temporary repairs.
So taking initiative, but also respecting the chain of command.
Exactly. Now let's talk about something that's a big part of life at sea.
Okay, what's that?
Weather.
Ah, yes. Can't forget about that.
They might ask you, how do you handle challenging weather conditions while working on board a vessel?
The sea can be unpredictable.
That's for sure.
They want to know you can handle it.
Work effectively no matter what Mother Nature throws at you.
So, what's the best way to answer this one?
Show them you can stay focused.
Even in a storm.
Even in a storm. Follow safety protocols no matter what.
Okay.
Mention any experience you have working in tough conditions. Heavy rain, strong winds.
And really emphasize my commitment to safety.
And your ability to adapt to those challenging conditions.
Show them I'm not afraid of a little rough weather.
That you're ready to get the job done no matter what.
Exactly. Okay, what about this question? How do you ensure compliance with environmental regulations while working on board a vessel?
Ah, yes. Environmental regulations are crucial in the maritime industry.
It's about protecting the ocean.
Absolutely. The interviewer wants to see that you understand your responsibility.
So I need to be familiar with those key regulations.
Yes. Things like MARPOL, the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
It's all about minimizing pollution from ships. Oil spills, sewage discharge, garbage disposal, air emissions, everything.
So it's not just about knowing the rules, it's about actually following them.
Right. You could mention specific actions you've taken to prevent pollution.
Like what?
Properly disposing of waste, reporting any spills or leaks.
Or even suggesting eco-friendly practices on board.
Exactly. Show them that you care about the environment.
That I'm not just there to do a job, but to be a responsible steward of the sea.
Well said.
Okay, what about this one? How do you handle being away from family and friends for extended periods of time?
That's a tough one for some people. Life at sea can be isolating.
You ought to know you can handle it.
The mental and emotional challenges.
So how do I approach this question?
Honesty is key.
Okay.
Talk about how you stay connected with your loved ones.
Phone calls, video chats, emails.
Exactly. And mention any hobbies or activities you enjoy.
Things that help me relax and de-stress.
Right. Show them you're self-aware.
That I have healthy coping mechanisms.
And if you've ever worked away from home before, even if it wasn't at sea,
draw on those experiences.
show them you've adapted in the past.
Okay, great advice. Let's wrap up this section with one final question.
Sounds good.
Why are you interested in working as an ordinary seaman?
The classic why this job question.
It seems simple, but it's important.
It is. This is your chance to really sell yourself.
Make a lasting impression.
Exactly. Let your passion shine through.
My passion for the maritime world.
Exactly. Talk about what drew you to this career path. Love of the sea, desire for adventure, interest in the technical aspects of working on a ship.
It's about showing them I'm not just looking for any job.
That you're genuinely excited about this opportunity.
Okay, so do your research.
Yeah.
Understand the company.
Their values, their operations.
And be prepared to explain why I want to work for them specifically.
Passion and enthusiasm are contagious.
They'll make a good impression.
A great impression. So, connect your personal motivations to the company's mission and values.
Show them I'm not just looking for a paycheck.
That you're looking for a career.
A place to contribute, learn, and grow.
And remember, RoleCatcher can help you tailor your answers to highlight those specific skills and qualities they're looking for.
This has been incredibly helpful. I feel like we've covered so much ground.
We have.
Our listeners must be feeling so much more prepared for those Ordinary Seaman interviews.
Yeah, I hope so.
But before we wrap things up, I think it's important to take a moment to reflect.
Okay.
What are some key takeaways that our listeners should keep in mind as they get ready for those interviews?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just being prepared.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't just walk into an Ordinary Seaman interview and wing it.
Nope.
You got to do your research.
Right. Know what the job entails.
Understand what an Ordinary Seaman actually does.
And practice those common interview questions.
Oh, and don't forget about RoleCatcher.
Oh yeah, RoleCatcher can be a huge help. They can help you fine-tune those answers.
And practice your delivery.
It's like having a secret weapon in your pocket.
For sure. Being prepared shows the interviewer that you're serious about the job.
And it helps you feel more confident.
Which is huge in any interview.
Right, because even if you know all the answers, you got to deliver them with confidence.
Exactly. But it's not just about the technical stuff.
Okay.
Don't forget to let your enthusiasm shine through.
Oh yeah, that's important.
Interviewers can tell when someone is genuinely passionate about the maritime world.
It's like, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Right.
Maybe not literally true when you're swabbing the deck,
Probably not.
but you get the idea.
Passion makes a big difference.
Okay, so we've talked about safety procedures, handling conflict, understanding environmental regulations, teamwork
A
skills.
lot of ground covered.
What's one final piece of advice you'd give to someone before they walk into that Ordinary Seaman interview?
That's a good one. I'd say take a moment. Visualize yourself stepping onto a ship for the first time as a crew member.
Wow, I like that.
Feel that excitement, the anticipation, the sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Let that energy fuel your interview preparation.
Remember, this is just the beginning of your journey.
The start of something amazing.
Okay, listeners, close your eyes,
Picture yourself on deck,
feeling that sea breeze,
the salt air.
hearing those ship sounds.
That's the feeling you want to bring to your interview.
All right, future sailors, go out there and conquer those interviews.
The maritime world is waiting for you.
And with the right preparation and that spark of passion, you're going to do great things.
Make some waves.
And remember, we're here to support you every step of the way.
Check out RoleCatcher for all your career and interview needs.
Keep diving deep into your passions. Until next time, fair winds and following seas.